my night wolves, and welcome back to another video. Today we are back with something different. As you can tell, we are here on Wednesday. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm still sick, as you can tell. But uh, yeah. So I'm not with it. I'm trying my best to record, and it's just my brain's not working. So we're here with one. Wansee Entertainment. I'm probably saying that wrong, but the links will be down below to their YouTube channel, so go and check them out. The link will be down below, and there will be a link at the end of the video, so you can click on the at the end of the video, or you could just go down in the not in the comments, down in the description area, and you'll find their channel links. So yeah, let's just jump into it and see. It's all horror based. I don't know. I watched some videos of YouTubers doing it, obviously, and one person said that they might be true. I don't know how true they are, but we're just gonna jump in and see what kind of creepy things we are going to be doing. And I'm also doing this because it is October and spooky season, so I want to get into the spooky stuff. So let's get into it, shall we?
Hi, my name is Shay. Well, at least that's what everyone calls me. About 11 years ago, my mom, my big brother, and I moved from Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. We were staying with my uncle and his wife and stepkids for a while until we got our own place. About a month later, we found an apartment to stay in. I had a bunch of teddy bears that I really liked between I was 12 going on 13. Well, when we finished to move our new house, I decorated my room really nice, and I set my teddy bears on my shelf above my bed. A week later, I noticed one of my teddy bears would always go missing, and I would find it under my brother's bed. I thought he was taking my teddy bear just to freak me out, but he really had no idea what I was talking about. It was kind of weird, so I decided to lock all my bears in my closet. They stayed in my closet for 2 days. Everything was fine. That's what I thought until the third day after has been started. The third day, I woke up on a Saturday and my closet door was cracked and my teddy bear was in the same place under my brother's bed. I knew something was wrong. After that, I immediately threw my teddy bears away after that. We stayed in that apartment for a year. After that, we moved. I'll never forget the day of the move. We found bones in the fireplace from a human. Now I'm 23, and I still remember that day, but I always think, what if I set up a video camera to see what was causing my teddy bears to do what they did?
Okay, so that was interesting. I always had like a lot of teddy bears when I was growing up, but nothing like that ever happened. So it's like weird because I don't know, like when I was young, I used to have like a lot of teddy bears. Like my bed was chock full of like teddy bears, like teddy bears, like stuffed wolves and all that stuff like that. I just like had different varieties of stuffed animals. And like I never had something terrifying like that to happen to me. But like I've heard like ghosts attaching themselves to objects, and attaching themselves to a teddy bear wouldn't be like shocking because they'll attach themselves to any like kind of object, really. Like they normally will attach themselves to dolls because they're hollow and they can put like pretty much go inside the doll and pretty much like move it and stuff like that. And then a teddy bear is pretty much one of the things that they will attach themselves to as well. I love horror stuff, and ghosts and stuff like that are my favorite, so I know like a lot about ghosts and stuff like that. They will attach themselves to any like object pretty much, but mostly dolls and teddy bears due to that they have like a physical body that they can move and stuff like that.
The creepy
Okay.
stalker. On Saturday at 11:30 a.m., I invited my friend Sophia to come to my house, just a general hangout. She came to my house at 12:25 and everything was going normal when we was talking in my room. As we were hungry then, we decided to go out, so we bought some snacks and walked to the park, which is next to the shops. When we about to leave from the park and just walked across the road, I saw a white car. I thought it was passing by, but the car just slowed down next to me and one guy opened the window. He was almost 35 to 40-year-old Pakistani man. He asked me, "Are you okay?" with a perverted grin. Then he said to me, come here, I want to talk to you." And I said no, while looking at the back seat of the car to see if he has anyone with him that will harm us. But luckily, he didn't. The guy said, "Please, I want to talk to you," while he was licking his fingers and staring at me. Then he made such a nasty hand gesture. I felt very angry and disgusted. Sophia whispered to me, "Let's go, he's creep." As me and my friend walked away from the car and went to a different path, which is next to the shops, he followed us and parked next to me again. Then saying, "Why won't you speak to me? Come on, speak to me. Come here, please." Out of anger, I yelled and said, "Leave me alone, you weirdo." Then we saw him with a very evil and perverted smile. I grabbed Sophia's arm and ran inside the shop and hiding. I was calling my other friend Jahim and told him briefly what's going on. He kept saying, "Call the police," but I thought it would be alright. Few more minutes later, we left the shop and walked on the same
Girl, girl. You should have listened to your friend. When he said to call the cops, you should have called the cops. It was not okay. Like, oh my god, like, ugh. Okay, I had to stop this because I had to tell you something. Like, when he was, when they were, how she was, sorry. When she was sitting there saying, like, he was making gestures with his fingers, it's like that, and I was, like, legitly on the verge of puking. That was so gross. Like, ugh. Ugh. I'm like getting chills right now. Ugh. Anyways, let's continue on with this. Ugh.
path as that was the quickest way to go to my home. We thought everything was okay until she turned around and screamed, "He's following us!" There was the same white car. So scared. My legs were shaking as we ran, and while I was running, I told Jahim on the phone, "He's following us!" and then said, "Go to the spider park." It was a small park that no car can park as there was houses around and which was right next to my house. I shouted, "Sophia, hide!" She hid behind the wall while I was hiding another place. As a result, the guy was still following but couldn't find us. He was roaming around the area. When he disappeared, we went towards the park from a small gate and finally went back to my place. Once we arrived home, I told my family everything that happened and phoned the police, but the police didn't do anything about it. They just said, "We will use it as intel and update you, but we can't do anything right now," which made us feel so sad. However, the most scary thing came up next by Sophia, who reminded me suddenly about the incident I've told her a week ago. She said, "What if it is the same guy?" I said, "What do you mean?" Then she said, "You know, when you told me about the guy who knocked on your window while you was trying to sleep?" My mind froze. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. Luckily, I had curtains so he wouldn't see me, but I never forget the moment looking at the end of the curtain where the window was showing clearly and seeing a guy arm knocking on my window. I remember rubbing my eyes to make sure that I wasn't imaging some demons, but no matter how much I rubbed my eyes, the figure of the mysterious guy arm was still there. From that day on, I just stayed in my room feeling very scared for about 2 weeks. What if he was the same guy knocking on my window?
No, no. Oh my god. Ooh. I hate that so bad. Like, imagine that, like, oh, I just can't. Like, I've always, like, was scared of someone stalking me, like, I've never had a stalker, thank the freaking God for that, but, like, I could never, like, imagine having a stalker constantly with someone following you, and then you're calling the police, and like, "Oh, somebody's following me and stalking me and blah, blah, blah," and they're like, well, we'll we'll keep that on. We'll write that down, and we'll keep that. We can't do anything unless he puts his hands on you or do something to you. We can't do anything. Like, imagine going through that. Somebody's stalking you, following you, and like you're always terrified. You never know when you're gonna turn the freaking corner and he's gonna be right there to snatch you up and do whatever with you. And the police will not do anything. I've like watched multiple like shows where this girl's being stalked and she calls the police and they're like, "Oh, well, we can't do anything unless they do something to you." Like, excuse me, what? You can't do anything unless unless he does something to you. Like, it just I can't imagine that. That's like horrible. And like that has to be like you're always on edge and you're always scared and you never know when they're gonna do something. And if they do something, the cops aren't gonna be there to like help you. You're gonna be like have to defend for yourself. They can kidnap you and all this like it's just I can't like I wish they had like a law where like if somebody is stalking them they could throw them in jail or something. I don't know. Like I get it, they haven't done anything and they're just following you and stuff like that, but that's still scary because you don't know what that person is thinking and what they're going to do. Anyway, so I never had a stalker, but like I cannot imagine a like what a person is going through what if they do have a stalker. Like that has to be like the most scariest thing in the whole entire universe to kind of go through. Like there's a lot of scary things to go through, but to have a stalker has to be like one of the very scariest things to have. Like, oh, I couldn't even imagine.
This fact happened when I was 15 years old, beginning of last year, 2018, when I finally got to sophomore year here in Brazil. It was an ordinary Friday night. Suddenly, I felt a little bit hungry, so I decided to put on some clothes and go to the snack bar. It was barely 10 minutes from my house. I usually pass through the alley to go to the snack bar, but that time, everything was so creepy in there. When I was halfway there, it was dark, empty, abnormally cold and gloomy. I felt slightly intimidated, but there was nothing there that could really harm me. So I decided to just go through that alley. Then I thought, nothing's gonna happen. I kept going until I suddenly heard something weird on the other side of the alley. There was a man in there, staring at the walls in hunchback stance, grunting weirdly. I found that incredibly creepy, but I was nearly at the snack bar, so all I needed was just to get out of that alley. Walk 1 minute more, and I finally would get there, instead of making it all the way home with empty hands. Thus, I decided to ignore him and pass through after all. I finally passed through him. He turned to me and stared at me with a creepy smile, which made me walk a little bit faster, trying to avoid him. Then, suddenly, I heard a grunt and quick steps behind me. When I looked back,
Oh my god.
it was him. We were barely 2 feet away from each other. He had a kitchen knife in his right hand and jumped on me with amazing speed and tried to
Run.
stab me. I managed
Run.
to grab both of his arms before he could get me. However, since he was charging at me, he still had more energy to push me back and force me against the wall. I was terrified with all of that. I knew I would die if I didn't fight back. Back then, I was already trained in some martial arts to defend myself, but that I thought I'd never need to use that skill to defend my life until now. So, in a sudden burst of adrenaline, I managed to twist the wrist which he was holding the knife, kicking his stomach and punching him mercilessly in the face several times. In the end, his face was bleeding so much, but his body was ignoring the pain of the blows in his body and only focusing on killing me. Finally, I used a training that I took before to twist both of his wrists and elbows harshly at the same time, forced in two different directions, and kicked the backside of his leg, putting him to the ground until ultimately he could drop the knife. It wasn't easy because he was struggling and punching my back and somehow trying to jump on me. But since I had his arm under my grasp, he couldn't do much without breaking himself. I slammed his head in the concrete ground, stunning him, then kept striking his face desperately while kneeling over his arm so he wouldn't be able to react or reach his knife again. And finally, he was out cold, bleeding a lot. My knuckles were full of blood and hurt. So I got up, took his knife, throwing it far away from there, and ran away from him. I finally got to the snack bar, washed my hands in there, and did everything I had to do before going back home. But obviously, I didn't take the same path as I did before. But there were things that got much creepier. That was at the entrance of my apartment, where I heard screams coming from the other side of the street. It was the same crazy man.
Of course.
Now, seeming like he was possessed by a demon, and he was slamming his head on the iron door of my building's entrance. His face was horribly deformed and scarred from our fight. That freaked me out completely.
Uh,
My parents were on a trip, and the watchman of our building was on vacation. I wasn't going to fight that man again, so I decided to rush to my girlfriend's house.
question. Question. I have a question. Hello? Did it come to your mind to call 911? Like, I don't get it. Like, he's beating the shit out of this guy, and he got his knife away from him, which is kudos to him. Good to him. I'm happy for him. But didn't it, like, come to your mind at all to, call, 911? Obviously not. But yeah, he should have called 911 after he beat the shit out of that guy and went to the store. Asked the manager or whoever's in the store, "Hey, can I call 911? I just got attacked." No, he didn't. He didn't even. I don't know. Or like go to his girlfriend's house and call 911. Or hey, maybe he has a cell phone on him. Take out his cell phone and call 911. Like, hello, 911 is a thing. I'm just saying.
When I got there, she was home alone. She looked worried because I was looking pale, and there were still some marks of the man's blood on my clothes. I explained everything to her, and we called the police to come by my building. And when they arrived, the man was still in the entrance trying to force the doors unsuccessfully. When he saw the police, he attacked them, but got quickly dominated by the cops. They explained that he was probably a crazy psycho in the streets looking for prey to rape, kill, or do anything he wanted to the person. So they sent him to a high security mental asylum for criminals far away from my house. I feel so lucky that I survived that day, and I'm hoping that I will never see that man again.
He did end up calling the police, but like you like he waited until he got to his girlfriend's house to call 911. Like, I would have been already on the phone calling 911, like, right after I got away from him. Like, I know I probably wouldn't be able to get away from him because I'm not that strong. I probably would have been over dominated by the guy. But if I was in his shoes, say I was a guy and I was in his shoes and I did manage to get away, I would have ran to wherever I was going, asked the person, the manager, whoever's in the store, if I could use their phone to call 911 because I legitly just got attacked by a man. You would think that was the first thing to do, you know? But no, he goes there, he washes his hands, and then he goes, gets his snacks, goes home, and then realizes that the psycho is trying to break into his building, and then he rushes off to his girlfriend's house and then calls 911. Whatever. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I actually did enjoy this. I'm probably gonna maybe make some more videos of this, of me reacting to horror things on this, on Wansee Entertainment. And like I said, all their links will be down below or at the end of the video, so go and check their channel out. I actually really enjoy their stuff, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, ring that bell if you want to see more videos from me, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see all you beautiful night wolves in the next video. Goodbye.